Oh hi, it's so pine, PanAnning, welcome you to Let's Badly Done Phoenix Wright. Finally! This is the last fucking part! Hooray!
Yes.
Enough with this fucking case. I love the game, but fuck this case.
Really, as I said at the beginning of the case, which was like a year ago at this point, is that it's way too fucking long.
I'm gonna hit this case with my fucking big ass blunt object. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand?
Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister!
Of course. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship.
Before that, Judge, there's something I would like to say to Opie.
Everything avenges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get.
Opie? You're treading on thin ice.
Witness's testimony can't end the fabrication.
I worked alongside Dan for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Opie, I swear to God.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Anna!
If this is true, then this means Chief Cat has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
But what if she's telling the truth?
She's not. I know my own sister.
But what if she's telling
Whenever
the truth?
she's being stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Like, make her scream in agony. I mean, yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin this cross-examination.
We're almost done.
No. Explain that to me. Rearranging the shit. You say you did this all by yourself.
Yes.
Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
It seems I was the first to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was struck in the victim's body.
Slam. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident.
That's only a situation the dream was possible. Stop stroking my hair.
Which kind though?
The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change his statement.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that?
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was that carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, it was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
Well, just to protect me.
So, when you found a scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and moved the body.
Hold it. You planted the tip of Dark's knife into the wound, and then you moved the body?
But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edward. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad, but maybe I'd ask for the sake of the others. Like, why did you move the body?
Why did you move the body? Yeah.
When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Yan's desk.
But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain in this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
The piece of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan.
Pieces of the jar, you mean?
Yes, that wretched jar Mr. Wright showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body.
So, when you first found the body, the jar was already...
Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during this struggle.
I see. What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere.
I think you're supposed to present the jar, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, I completed this fabrication completely alone.
Yeah, so go back to that statement and present the jar.
The damn jar. Yes. Oops. No. There we go. Objection. Fucker. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life, Slam, will have been useless. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony.
A contradiction in my testimony?
Also a contraction. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan."
That's right.
Do you have a problem with that? It's simple. It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood.
Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. Contraction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must have not yet been broken before he died.
Ah!
Slam. He couldn't have written Emma's name on that shattered drawer. Rubber. Order.
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. Bloody message? We may be missing something critical here.
Blah. Something critical?
Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed.
What?
Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. The jar and the message in blood.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped the blade out with blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
There's a good reason why I did an inflection there.
Yeah. You mean you were the one who wiped away the bliss-blooded message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Slam. Very well. The vets may now begin its cross-examination.
Which is actually pretty simple when you think about it.
That fucking jar again.
Indeed.
How many times that damn jar is gonna be
I
played?
think it's actually the last time we need to present it.
But again, objection. I'm gonna smash your head with this damn jar and be broken again. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you were unaware of. We found the piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. I can't read right, sorry.
In the chief's safe? But how?
I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about the final piece. There was still blood on it. But witness just testified she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. Slam. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? Slam. I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. But that may very well be. Even I makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? Objection.
Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When the witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken.
Oh, that.
There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness.
I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. The chap he was looking for Darks downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer that? Oh, this is the breakdown. No! I love the breakdown from the judge. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Yeah, fucking trail. It's trial, stupid.
Trail? I've never noticed. Damon Kent arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness.
More grammar.
He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called?
Fabricating. Yeah, fabrication. But why would Chief Gant do that?
In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister, Emma, killed the victim. Determined to help a sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark.
Lending her his aids.
Sparing Emma. And here is the reason. The reason why Miss Sky became the chief's puppet.
Ow, blood.
No! I did it on my own! Please, sis! Stop trying to protect the chief! I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake! No, you didn't! If it wasn't you, Emma, you didn't kill anyone! Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most powerful foul lies to defend their client.
Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still in the smack dab of middle of Gant's trap? Something wrong, Mr. Wright. Lana, maybe you're right after all.
What do you mean, right?
So, you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright?
Slam. Miss Sky, please testify once more.
But
If evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might be also a lie.
But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Miss Sky, if you will.
I can't.
There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth.
Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw.
Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time.
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. Had she can't help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent.
Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword.
You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof.
Actually, I do have. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning.
What? To me?
It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed.
But I don't remember seeing a picture like that.
Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana.
Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere.
Yeah. There we are. Hey, there's a picture in here.
Oh my! This is the actual crime scene! No other detective saw the crime scene like this. That's because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after we arranged the scene. Mr. Wright! That piece got on from his vest! Could that be?
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this?
It's a handprint. That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer.
What? Those fingerprints. They're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer.
Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Oh, this is gonna be funny. You'll see why.
Yeah, I know what's coming.
Ah, boy. Must prep my voice. We're about to cross-examine, however...
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall body and fell on that.
Yeah. I am back, bitches. Come now, Edgy boy. This is the poorest excuse for an atrocity I've ever seen. She can't. What? Now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put a word into in my defense.
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
You already declined your testimony. That means you forfeited your right to make any statements of any sort.
This must be the risk the judge was talking about.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck.
So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I still can present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So then, what's your excuse, Wright boy? Why have you been keeping it so quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall Carzinga's dead. Conclusive evidence that leaves room for no doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, I must sure to be made out as a murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I'm gonna think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall?
Now, if you do present it at this point, you get a non-standard game over.
Your Honor, I don't have any evidence that I can present at the point this in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant? You opened my safe. You know, I know you took what is inside. A conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it.
What are you talking about, Chief Gant?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like the part of it's been cut off for some reason.
You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief of police, concealing evidence? This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Wright boy. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her.
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that's when she saw the scene. She would ask me for my aid.
So you assisted Miss Sky.
I told her to rearrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room.
And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dart convicted.
When we rearranged the crime scene, I hid the 2 pieces of evidence. I did this before Lana arrived at the scene. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for the murder that girl committed. You mean you're the one? You really were calculating the far ahead while forging the evidence? Who do you take me for, fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar vacuum? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off of all the pieces.
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the meshes on this jar too?
Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? I wish I knew how to quit you. That's why I kept one more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come on, Ryder boy. Cough it up already. I know you haven't.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you meant to it then, Gigant? That you were hiding the cloth you cut off from the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do all that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Ryder boy. You should have shown it before it was too late. It's been a long battle, but the moment of truth has finally arrived.
We're approaching the end, everyone.
As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine.
We can actually show it now.
Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered the prosecutor marshal. The cloth. Slam. Let me provide this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's chest. Oh yes! At last you finally brought it out to the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth.
Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the letter. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly.
You're me?
It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
Oh, you are slow on the uptake as Weatherworthy boy.
What?
Think about it. Ryder boy had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that?
Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever's the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person whose these fingerprints belong to are...
Unfortunately,
yeah, but...
we have to do this.
Emma Sky?
What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But wait! Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, you're really something, Ryder boy. Who knew you knew this girl did it all alone? And you still try to pin the murder on me. So it is true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Persecutor Marshall to his death.
Hold it! How could you? You monster!
Miss Sky.
You knew those fingerprints were all alone. You acted like she really didn't.
Miss Sky, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Oh wait, I got it right here in the palm of my hand. Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? She's gonna get some massive blunt objects hit around her. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? Oh, what? Chief Gant, you're absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall? Yes. It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth.
The photo.
Yes. Take that. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it. No! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword. No! This is nonsense! Now that Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside.
He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out.
If so, then tell me, who could have it been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Sky? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armored sword. H-N-N-G-N-G.
Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. Then he broke the jar on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it.
Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. And no. Oh no! It's finished. Objection, Your Honor. Ooh, I could be a defense attorney too. Oh, that was close, brother boy. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute all allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Udgy boy. Earlier, old Wright boy here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Wright boy? You do have some conclusive evidence, do you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth was ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair!
Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. Sonny boy. I'm afraid that Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright. Seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it that you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of evidence of club? I did not. I did not hit her. I did not. Certainly. I refuse to present evidence at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. Objection. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? Slam. There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Edgy boy, don't listen to his lies. Help me. He's nothing but a coward. You can't let him.
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well, let's settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was done in violation of the law, then do so now.
Evidence law.
This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. Slam. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth. Nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law.
Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department.
Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case and trial.
And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? So take one look at this picture and... Objection, Slam. Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented? I was shown only a mere moments ago. No!
He's right. At the beginning of 2 days trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it a value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes! No! No! Stop it!
It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence.
Stop the madness!
Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who have cut this from the victim's chest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who could that be. Damon Gant. The killer was you. Let's applaud because this law plea is over. Yay! Okay, clock break is over. I knew I should have got rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something out of me. Crimes are being committed every day and he insisted on harming me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Andrew Starr, and then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is tried, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Help me tell down this damn wall that Trump is building. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when he'd quit.
He stole Goodman's ID and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost file item report. I went with him to the evidence room. I didn't read my lie, goddammit. What are you talking about, Goodman?
Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
He told me to open up the evidence room and take it out.
It's not too late. I'll hand this to Marshall.
Well, to be honest, I was a little panicked too. I had a bad feeling about it, but never knew it would come to this. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out.
You would only increase the amount of blood, and you couldn't finish what you started.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I was wiping it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my mistake. Detective Gumshoes. Bloody handprint. I used to be known as a crime computer. Everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Did you put the body in my car?
I'm sorry, we couldn't think of any other way to move the body. We broke in the trunk, but then, what's the big deal? You pulled down a lot more than us detectives. Slam. What does this have to do with anything? You're horrible. How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she has much to lose, as I did, if the truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker?
I feel bad for having to do it. I couldn't sit around and pick and choose what to take. Well, you left a jar of fragment and gloves. Yeah, it looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I gotta hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Willie boy, what are you doing in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you will understand. If you want to take them on alone, you figure out what's needed. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye to everybody. Oh, Udge boy. It looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Demigod. I knew you used to be a long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy boy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright a boy there. And we're the boy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. You see, if I listen carefully, I can hear it now. The sound of a new beginning.
There's like 7 more games or something.
Oh boy. There's 2 things I want you to understand.
Yes?
First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Divigan betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Guy? You would no longer have any reason to keep silent.
You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I began to help me forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems that all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Guy. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble.
My, what high standards you have for rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top.
Oh, nice smile.
I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
Sky.
And to you too, Mr. Edward.
Hmm?
You've suffered every bit as much as I have over the past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you.
It was nothing.
Always humble as ever. Liar.
I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edward.
Stop it. I only did my job.
Stroking his ego. In the light of this case, it seems a good sum examining is in order in all of us. Sky,
Yes, Your Honor?
you are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, is a fact you are still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this
You
court
don't
finds it
say,
authentic, Miss
Judge.
Define it, Miss Lana Sky. It's gone far long enough. Goddamn, not guilty.
Yay, it's finally over.
Confetti. Happy New Year.
It's already bad.
That is all the God is adored. And as I take a glass of water, oh fuck, I have no water.
I have no fucking water.
I
I
have
have no
no water?
water. Are you kidding me?
God damn it. VTF? At long last,
It is.
it's finally over. At long last, it's finally over, he says.
Yeah.
Emma.
And we still have an epilogue though.
Why the long face? That's a bartender joke. The bartender goes, why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook. But at least she wasn't convicted for murder that she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fee thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
Oh, she didn't
And you too, Mr. Edward.
she didn't give her any recognition.
You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Oh no, I'm not interrupting anything. I guess I am. I'll come back later.
We told you guys this joke would come back
Detective
again.
Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around all around on duty. And top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of, you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
Lana!
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell you if you will.
Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it.
I'm just good as gone.
That day, years ago.
Oh yeah, the day when she was hit by a blunt object.
Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming.
My dick.
All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess.
From my dick.
Sis! I asked him to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by pretending so, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day, denying what I believed to be the truth. I was deceiving you. Sis! I'm such a fool.
Baka.
It took me all this time to realize. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course! You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma!
Oh, ain't that cute? No, I won't say it. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our path. And once we found our path, we can move on from our past mistakes and toward a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt looking at those two sisters make up.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe,
Me?
thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday, except I haven't shown yet in any of the standard games. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
Spoiler alert. Edgeworth,
Stop hiding and come over here.
get over here. Where was he hiding?
I just came to say congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right. Well, I'll be going now.
Wait, where's he going?
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you.
It's too late for me.
Hmm?
No matter what anyone may say. I realize today that I can't change my own mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth!
Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right.
You disguised criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. If you want to take them on alone, you'll figure out what's needed.
I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon.
A weapon.
It's scary, but I've been thinking the same thing for quite some time.
But Edgeworth.
Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Even Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Parma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon. That ain't right, but think back to today's strike. You weren't alone. you were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
Right, Mr. Wright, god damn it. Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this? Pop quiz?
Come now, Mr. Wright. Show him what Lana's talking about.
Evidence that Edward and I would have been able to find on our own.
The evidence list.
Oh yeah, my bad. I thought it was evidence law, but it's this.
That's the picture I drew.
Our counterattack began with like this. You had one half of the evidence lens, I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture.
That didn't just happen by chance, Edward.
It's time for me to go.
Mr. Edward!
If you'll excuse me, there's still some loose ends that needs wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor.
Edgeworth, what would you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, what happened in this trial can neither make or break you as a prosecutor. In the end, it's up to you.
I know. It seems I all knew my things too. But what I face now is my problem.
Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court.
Farewell.
I'll be getting back too. Okay, I'll come visit you. Seems we're both still have a lot to learn. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study of the wild. Thanks, sis. I will.
She's always showing off her pearly whites. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. And fingers crossed. Faith that in their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started a new journey on my journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved with the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this.
What?
I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison, or it is a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh?
Way to go, detective. I didn't do you the wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the only one who would be footed the bill. Huh? What? You think I could afford with that with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Oh, since we're all here, why don't we all go together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
I think if you click repeatedly on it, it should work.
I'm clicking on it, but it's not doing nothing. God damn it.
Or try the voice button.
I don't have a voice button, god damn it.
You did make a mic button because of
Yeah, I did.
that other case, that other part.
And it's not working. It's not working. This game will never end. This game will never end.
Or you could map the X button and try that.
Thing is, I don't want to press any button that would do something. Hold on a second. Fuck me.
Save state.
Of course. Fuck. Let me see. 180.
Technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
No, I'm keeping this. This is
Of course you are.
fuck that. I'm
I
still.
have barely shown myself in this game. This is the end. La la la. I am a bird.
I am a bird. Oh, let me see. Hold on a sec.
I am your friendly neighborhood Sparrowson.
There we go. I had to hold the Q button. Q's my
I
Y
see.
button and hit the L, and there you go.
So yeah, case 5. It certainly was a journey.
I arranged for a friend of mine to be in Europe to take care of Emma. He's a coroner. I think Emma will be pleased. But for me, this affair is very much under my dad, the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back into the field somewhere. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma.
Yeah, we do get some images there.
Yikes. Well, I thought that I was a goner there for a moment, sir. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation in the chief's office. If we penalize you even more, it would be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show. You can't shake me off that easily.
I mean, yeah, case 5, it's certainly a thing.
Yeah, wow, what a fucking ride this was.
The really big problem is that his last week. Oh god. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to security guard. My partner is keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them now. Someday I'm going to be detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like the teacup shoe.
I love that guy.
To think I might have to redo that voice one day.
Yes.
Fuck.
Oh yeah. It won't be for
Not
quite.
even once, but perhaps twice.
It won't be for quite some time though, but yeah.
But yeah, while the freaking blue badger is here, yeah. There are some good parts to the case, but seriously, there was no need for the evidence law thing. I mean, it never... First of all, it's never brought back in any of the other games in the series, especially 2 and 3 because they were made before this version of the game. But, yeah, even in the later games, it's not mentioned.
What is it? Can't you see I'm having a showdown with my stay lunch partner? Miss Thought managed to sneak this to me. She's seen one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did. You even gave Babina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Hey, hombre.
Yeah, Meekins is on that.
Yeah.
And anyways... Oh.
Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the right way lunch. The top layer stays as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids these days seem to dig the turnabout team into hot soda around exam time. Let's make sure not to eat it backwards. Also, pie, what the hell?
Yeah, I might as well just wait until after the credits are done to finish
Yeah.
my final thoughts.
I'll do.
Oh, it's the judge.
Well, I'll never forget the young Lowers said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left. Anyway, he said he's been doing some other, for how many years? Well, anyway, I got another trial to get to, so I better be. Oh, Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, I gotta go. How can you forget your
Good
gavel?
old judge.
Damn judge.
Own global studio. Oh boy.
Global Studios. Hey, Maya.
Nothing suits the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing Nick and his objection. Still, I can go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium.
Maya, things about to begin.
See you around, Nick. I missed the line. Doesn't matter.
We still love you, Maya.
Only time we see Maya in this whole fucking case. And it's in the ending.
Yeah, and the only time we see that village in the background. That's the first
Eh,
time. That's the first time
we'll see it at another point.
Yeah,
But not in this game.
right. Oh. Bellboy.
Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? How about to your tea? Huh? What's going on? That's right. We don't even get to see Edgeworth during the ending.
Yep.
Because of reasons.
Yep. The second game will explain.
Which, if we eventually do the second game, you will find out.
Hey.
Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm actually going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book.
And all of a sudden, Sekai comes
And
out.
we actually get to open the book.
All of a sudden, Sekai comes out of nowhere, just pushes onto an upcoming train, and it just totally
Then
becomes.
it becomes a very different game. This is a very cute picture.
Ah, it is. Such a cute picture. Opie, shut up.
Oh, bye. Keep it in your pants.
Will do. Will do. Capcom.
But
Yay. We're done.
we gotta consider that this was the first game in the series that we got in North America. The original version came on the Game Boy Advance. We never got any of the Game Boy Advance version. But this was our first introduction to the Ace Attorney series, known as Saiban in Japan. And it's a pretty good introduction. I mean, you've seen Case 4. Case 4 is still considered today to be one of the best cases in the whole series. However, Case 5 can go fuck right off. The main problem with it is the fact that it's way too long. And
Way too long. you said.
also it was created entirely to use DS features. That's really one of the only reasons. Also, it's an introduction to the Emma character, which, well, if you played the other games in this series, you know what I'm talking about this.
Right. My goodness.
And one of the other better parts of that case is Damon Gant.
Of course, the stare.
I mean, holy shit. The death stare, the fact that somehow he carried out this plan, and if he hadn't tried to pin shit on Lana, it might have gone through without being discovered. But that's not happening. And yeah, Opa is just showing the picture. And yeah, there's not even one for the fifth case, so
No.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
One of the reasons for that is actually it's kind of similar to the fourth game in the series. The fourth game in the series also doesn't have any of these No, do not click on
Let's play
confirm.
again.
Please,
Let's play again.
let's not go through this hellhole again. But yeah, overall, while this is probably not my favorite Ace Attorney game, it's still up there. It's still a very good game.
Right.
Just don't play Case 5.
I know. That's crazy.
I don't know if you want to give some final thoughts before we end this.
Well, I mean, this has been again when we first started this. This was like before we started this. This was like a spur of the moment kind of thing. Like we needed like a new project, and I was like, oh, let's do Phoenix Wright. Why the hell not? Let's revisit this game. And you know, took us a
And
while.
we forgot that Case 5 was a thing.
Yeah, we forgot that. We wanted to pretend it didn't exist, but it was something. Plus, it was very
And
odd.
to be honest, the next two games, since they were made before this case even existed, they don't even reference it.
No.
It's referenced in a bit in the fourth game, but not that much. And
yeah.
well, there's also the investigations that exist, and I think there's some reference to this, but nah, not that much. Other than that one character which I already mentioned is in those games. But yeah.
Right. But let's see. What else? And I mean, for all the other Phoenix Wright games, that'll probably maybe sometime it'll happen and sometime later. But now we're not gonna jump into the next game. We're gonna move on to something else.
Not yet. However, I'm not sure if Opie will actually upload these, but we did dip into something special, I should say. I don't know if he's gonna upload that in one episode or if he's even gonna upload that at all.
What? Which one?
You know what I'm talking about. It has drive in the name.
Oh, son of a bitch! I totally forgot I has that. Oh. Well, yeah, but it's gonna be kind of difficult to censor certain things and all that. But yeah,
To be honest, you could almost censor everything there. Although you could just put, like, I don't know, the Setsuna image that you put in that other video from Friend to Lover just over those whole parts,
oh,
and
that's
just so we can hear all our bullshit. It's
oh
up
my
to you.
yeah. We'll see, we'll see. But I mean,
But yeah, that's a special thing that might be coming sometime. And I said the word coming. That's considering what game it is,
that's a clue. That is a definite clue. But for now,
Indeed.
but for now, let us end this.
Yeah, that's always a thing with these end of project blurbs.
Yeah.
we tend to drag out forever, so
This,
might as well just end it
and
now.
it's once again, I thank PanAnning for becoming my co-commentator once again and
You're
co-voice
welcome.
actor.
This was fun as heck,
This was,
despite, Case 5.
I hope for more projects with you and
But hey, I got to bring out the Monica voice, so everything is fine.
okay, Opie, it's time to end this. Yes. It's time.
Yeah, we should probably end this now.
Yes, before I get deleted or this. Anyways, thank you for watching. I mean,
Goodbye, everyone.
goodbye.